Hey guys, welcome to, huh? Oh, oh, can you guys hear us at all? Can you see us at all? Hey guys, oh, welcome to, huh? So they can hear me, but not
Oh,
you.
that's right. But now they can
Oh,
hear me.
can
There we
you
go.
guys hear us at all? Can you see us
All right.
at all?
Our
Now
levels
we
are,
can hear.
yeah, our levels are pretty similar here. So,
So they can hear
we
me,
look
but
fine.
not you.
That's
Okay,
right. But now they can hear me.
cool. Well, welcome guys. Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show where we,
Our levels are
tell you on Wednesdays to
pretty
not
similar
worry.
here. So, that's right. We look fine. That's exactly what this
And
is.
yes, and no, we handle some of your issues and struggles. If you're having a challenge, feel free to post it in the chat, and we will do our best to help in any way we can. We're not
Yeah.
professionals. We're not attorneys or doctors or lawyers or police officers or professional psychotherapists. However,
Psychotherapists.
yes, that
Nice.
we come to you as friends, and we just want to help in any way we possibly can and support you guys the way you're supporting us. We can't thank you enough for all of you being with us here in our community. And speaking of our community, if you have not been there yet, you need to go to bss.studio and check out the website and join in the forums and get to know some of the folks there. Most of you are there anyway, and we're glad you're there. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Thanks for being here. Yeah. You guys are awesome. And let me lower my volume just a little bit here. All right. Cool. Looks good. Um. So yeah. What's on everybody's mind today? Anybody have anything that they're going through? That would be helpful if you just kind of post it in the comment. Um, but for now, we actually record a lot of the questions that you had from last stream on
hmm
our website. So
thank you for posting the website in the chat.
yeah, thanks. All right. Let's see. Are there any of these, Joe, that you want to do here?
Well, Super Potato RR1 just posted.
Oh.
So here's the problem I have, and it's about high school.
Oh.
How is it like, and how is high school for you? So I'm assuming Super Potato is about to enter high school
Hmm.
and is wondering what high school is like.
Yeah. Hopefully. Is that what you're asking there, Super Potato? Or is there going to be more to your thing? Something different? Um, because, yeah, when I was entering high school, I wasn't, I could say I was a little bit worried, but not really. I mean, there's a lot of stories that circulate, and they're like, oh man, when you become a freshman, they haze you and they treat you all like crazy. Okay, yeah, that's all. But I'll tell you, when I went in, it wasn't any different. The change from middle school to high school, not a whole lot was different. It was like, you had to learn a new layout of a building. You had to figure out how to get to all your classes on time. Um, but as far as the environment with the other kids and stuff, I mean, it was pretty much the same. Honestly, though, maybe a little bit better because once you get to high school, kids start to mature a little bit more and they become a little less um, mean. Now, of course, there will still be jerks and so on, but I feel like it's not, at least the way that it was for me and the way it was for my mom and her experiences, and a lot of people that I've talked to. Middle school is the worst place you can be on earth. High school's a little bit better.
The worst on earth.
So if middle school hasn't been too bad for you so far yet, then high school is gonna be uh, not even a problem at all. um, but yeah, just like anything in life, whether you move from one place to another, you always bring you with you, and so how you feel about something is entirely based on how you feel. Um, Once you get there, uh, you get to kind of pick your attitude. You get to pick whether you are excited about it or you're scared or whatever. And so I would just recommend, like, when you go in, just be open to having fun. Be open to making new friends. Um,
Mhm.
you'll find that maybe if you all uh, every grade has lunches together, and you can go and find new friends if you want. But yeah, don't let a fear cause you to back off in your personality. Don't let the fear cause you to hide away when you want to get out there, because if you do that, you're only holding yourself back, and we don't want you to hold yourself back. That'll be, your worries taking over you, and you don't want to do that.
Especially on Wednesdays.
Especially on a Wednesday. So if you're going to school on a Wednesday, even if the other days before it weren't quite, like you were holding yourself back and you're like, oh man, on Wednesday, when Wednesday comes around, there's no worries. So you can just go out and do whatever you want.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the best I got for you. Actually, middle school was great for me, except for me because.
Great experience for me because it was a little
okay.
school.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
perfect.
So high school might be a little bit bigger, so it might be a little, like Ryan was saying, there might be some adjusting that has to take place there. You might need to figure out, some new stuff. But man, I tell you, what Ryan said was so important. One of the things is that wherever you go, there you are, and you take yourself with you. And I tell you, that has a lot to do with however you perceive your new experience. So, like you can go into it assuming this is going to be awesome, and it doesn't matter where you go in life, you're going to have great people, you're going to have friendly people, you're going to have bullies, you're going to have the whole spectrum of people. And that does not change as you grow older. Sometimes it gets a little bit more laid back, but I think that's just as we grow and mature, it's more our own perspective that we bring to things. And so, yeah, I would encourage you, just maintain that attitude that you had a great experience in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that going into high school, and man, you're gonna be just fine. But yeah,
it's a great point. Wherever you go in life, there's going to be people of all types, and so you might find some bullies once you go to high school that you didn't experience while you were in middle school. But yeah, it's up to you whether you want to feel like crap or not. So don't let it be up to them. You get to perceive it how you want.
Yes, and also remember too, one of the things, I mean, all of us, every single person craves acceptance and affirmation. And, if you can offer that to somebody, if you can accept people, if you can offer acceptance, you'll have so much of an easier time making new friends with these people, because you offer your non-judgmental acceptance to them, regardless of who they are, what they look like, what, all that stuff. If you can accept people where they're at, oh my gosh, you will make so many great friendships.
That's true. Yeah. So now we have another question.
Yeah.
This is from Haley Hepworth. Hi,
Haley.
Hey, how's it going? How can I be a light to others? All around me, I see people struggling and hurting, and I hate not being able to do anything. Can you give me any advice as to what I can possibly do? What do you have there, Joe?
That is a really great question. And thank you for asking the question, by the way. And Super Potato, also thank you for your question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, that's an important question, and it's a difficult one at the same time, because I mean, you can be a light to others sometimes just by smiling at them. And that kind of piggybacks on what I was just talking about with accepting others. That's kind of where it all starts. Sometimes people are hurting, and you're not going to be able to do much about it because you aren't properly placed to help them. Sometimes in order to help somebody with an issue, it will require a certain level of relationship with them in order for them to trust you, in order to help with that. But if you can always start that process by, looking at someone, smiling at them, treating them with respect, and treating them Like if someone's going through their day and they just feel like the world is beating them down, they're just, you know how refreshing it is to have somebody smile at you and just say hi in a completely caring way, with no strings attached, just trying to brighten your day a little bit with a smile and a hi. Depending on your culture, whatever greeting, is appropriate. Some cultures that the handshake, some cultures is bowing, it just depends on where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can greet people and always have in your heart. So one of the things I like to do is say to myself over and over and over again as I look out into the world, I just say the words, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Over and over and over, just silently to myself. I look at someone and I think to myself, I love that person. And I
That's
love
awesome.
that person. And I love that person. And then what that does, it may not even start a conversation at all, but it sets your mind in the right direction for if you do make contact with this person and if you do talk to them. And then when someone's hurting, now you can breathe life into them, starting with the fact that in your heart you love that person. And that's kind of where I would start. And then
Mm-hmm.
from there, sometimes it's just a little bit of encouragement, it's a little bit of complimenting them on some things, who knows. And they may completely reject you because they may be so downtrodden in their day that they're just shutting the world out, and you are part of the world that they're shutting out. And so that might happen. You might you might be faced with some rejection or some shutting out like that. Man, at that point you have to then tell yourself, this isn't me. They are struggling with something. They are struggling with something so hard that they can't even acknowledge that I did something friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not anything that you did wrong at that point. It's just that they're in such a dark place that they're completely closed off to anything good at that moment. And so you can't let yourself take that personally, as hard as that can be sometimes. So, but that would be my encouragement for you. And Ryan, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, it's very good. Uh, yeah, we appreciate your question. And I think this is a really good question because it shows us your heart. And I think that's really great. It seems like you want to do a lot of good for a lot of people. And I think that's really impressive, very important. So I think already your heart's in the right place. Just ways that you're just looking for ways that you can, help others. And I think that's awesome. One thing that I would say a lot of times, the best thing you can do for people is to, it's kind of easy and cheesy. It's not easy, but it's a little bit cheesy. And to say, lead by, or set an example, basically, lead by example. So I remember when I was in school, I was a very shy person, you could say. And so at one point I realized this, and I realized that I wanted to be a stronger person. And so when I decided that I was going to start working on myself, I started to force myself to do things in public that I would never do before because I was too self-conscious. I started to compliment people. That was the first thing I did. I was like, all right, I'm going to school, and then whenever I see something, I'm going to actually do it. So I saw someone's pants and I was like, hey, I like your pants, and I was very, very honest and sincere, and they're like, oh, thanks, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down next to this random person I don't even know, and I'm going to try to strike up a conversation. And that was crazy, and I couldn't believe I was even walking over there or sitting down when I sat down and then saying hi. And it was like, wow, this is so awkward. But the fact that I forced myself to do that it started to change who I was. And I noticed very quickly it also started to change the people around me. It started to attract more people to me, and we started this group that we were just constantly lifting each other up. We all had this positive attitude. We all had this attitude of, hey, let's do our best. Let's help people out. Let's enjoy each other. Let's have a fun time, and let's not worry or care about what other people might have to say about us. And I'm not going to say I'm the sole person that did this, because everyone helped out in this, but by forcing myself to lead by example, to put myself in a position where I was doing good things for other people in public for them to notice, really, really caused them to want to do the same thing. Because when we see people do that kind of thing, we think, like, maybe it's something, somebody drops their papers or books or whatever, and then you help them pick it up. Or maybe someone, you let somebody who's really hungry or something go in front of you in line or something, whatever it is. Although in that case, people who are onlooking might assume that you guys are friends and you're cheating for them. But regardless, helping other people. When people see other people helping each other selflessly or charitably, we always look at that and say, wow, that person's a good person. I kind of wish I would do that kind of stuff. Like, when we see people giving to the poor, we say, oh, wow, I wish I could say the same thing about myself. That's really great. But when you do it and other people see that you're just a person like them, it gives them the confidence that they can start doing that as well. And a lot of self-growth comes from not by hearing things, but by doing things. Of course, a lot of times we need to see things and hear things and maybe set us on the right path, but it's not until we start to desire to help or to do good things for other people that we start to feel good about ourselves. A lot of cases, happiness is something a lot of times that you earn by giving it away. By making others happy or making others joyful, you receive joy as well. And so if you can do that for other people and other people are watching you, I think that naturally they'll see you and they'll be given that little boost of confidence to do the same thing. And to, like, maybe next time they see someone drop a pencil, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna pick it up, and they'll pick it up and they'll be like, yes, I did it, and that little thing, helps us grow. And so just leading by example really helps people that you're close to, publicly showing them, like, hey, I'm trying to become a better person too. Even if you let them know that, I think that's important too. Like, hey, I'm trying my best to become a better person because I had my faults here and here. And so this is what I'm doing. And that'll give them a little confidence, like, oh, they think they're broken too? Like, maybe I can grow then, Another thing I would say that I've learned recently that helps people a lot of people don't like it when you give them advice. A lot of people don't want you to help them, because it makes them feel like what they've been doing up until now is wrong. And no one wants to feel wrong, right? So if you try to help them, they'll assume that you're showing them that they're messed up, that they're broken, that, that sort of thing. And yeah, they are, and we all are in part. So in order to get into the relationship where you can help them the best, the most, in order to get into that relationship where they're willing and accepting of your help, the best thing you can do is make them feel like they're important and they matter, and that they're extremely valuable to you. And what I mean is ask them questions about your own personal problems. By putting them in that place, it shows them that you trust them, and they're going to be more willing to trust you. If you ask someone like, hey, I'm going through this issue with my friend, what do you think I should do? Asking somebody that, even though they're the one that maybe you're trying to help in the end, by showing them that, like, hey, you value their opinion, you value their thoughts, you think that they are smart and intellectual, by showing them that they're accepted and you want their help makes them want your help more, because then they feel like they're on an equal level with you rather than you're some kind of mentor or you're some kind of teacher or whatever, or someone that's trying to tell them what to do or how to live their life. By allowing yourself to be changed by them, they're more willing to be changed by you. And so that can also include things as easy as, hey, you know, what kind of music should I pick? Like, I'm looking for a list of songs to play. Do you have any suggestions? Even something like that is as simple as that. Shows them that you value their tastes, value their opinion, value who they are, value them and their input. And then they'll be more accepting of your input later. So those are my suggestions. Hopefully that helps out. I'm sure you've been trying a lot of this already, but a lot of it is just continuing to try and continuing to try and continuing to try. I've met a lot of people who have tried to help, and in the end, it seems like I did nothing, even though I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried for years sometimes. Mm-hmm. But then, you know, those little nuggets, you feed them along the way. Later on in life, they move forward finally. They take that step. Maybe like 3 years later, you know, they have a breakdown or something, even more so. Or someone else comes into their life and they end up saying something that's similar to what you were saying, to try to help them. And then suddenly it clicks in their head. And so you having been there for them in the past makes their future brighter, even though they might not ever see it and you might never see it. It happens. It really does happen. So your efforts aren't in vain for trying if you see no results. But a lot of it is just trying over and over and over. Because, you know, like we were talking about before, you can't decide what someone's perspective is going to be in life. It's up to them. But you can try to influence that. You can try to influence that by being around them and showing them a brighter side. You know, we are often most like our closest friends in the way that we see the world. Or the way we see the world is often based upon the programs on TV we watch, or the music we listen to, or the YouTube videos we watch, or the whatever practices we take part in. You know, whatever we listen to has an effect on how we see the world. And so by being an example for them of one way to see the world, you'll influence them a little bit. And hopefully that will be enough to turn the coin for them and start a new perspective, you know, and look for more joy in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And that's why I come to Don't Worry Wednesdays, because I get to hang out with Static.
I'm not even here. What are you talking about?
And his bulletproof, amazing attitude rubs off on me and hopefully all of you. Because, man, spending time around
that's pretty good.
He's above me. He's right there. I'm telling you.
Know your place. I'm just kidding.
That's right. So yeah, but that programming and who you hang out with and what you take in as programming, those have a huge effect on your perspective. And yeah, that's why I like hanging out with Ryan.
Aw, you're so nice. We have so many awesome people in our community.
I am nice.
Yeah, you're so nice. I like the way that is like when I touch your face, it's like, wow, this is nice.
Can't even touch my face.
You just move it up a little bit, and I'll be petting. There you go. Very nice. Yeah, it's nice. We're so weird. Yeah. Hey, if you guys think you're weird, so are we. So this is great.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, we have so many amazing people in our community. You guys really help set the tone for everybody and give everybody joy. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Nyla said what?
Oh, I was gonna say to Nihilus retracted a couple messages. I don't know if he wants me to address those, but I read those before you retracted them.
Ooh.
Yeah, and you had some good points in there. So I don't know
Oh,
if you want to repost them, you can.
yeah.
And but yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to. If you meant to retract those, I don't want to. I don't want to expound on them. But I did see a question, or not a question, or a comment from Miss Sativa that are we talking about anxiety? It sounds like social anxiety, which yeah, there's a lot of that going on. I struggle so badly with
Mm,
anxiety, and let
yeah.
me just tell you, Miss Sativa, that uh, holy cow, my heart goes out to you because I have struggled in my life so much with social anxiety and just being concerned about being around people. I like to have my personal space. I don't want people to be close to me. Um, oh, I can say them. Okay, thanks, Nihilus. But anyway, um, I, I, uh, I, I totally blanked.
You're talking about anxiety.
Yes, anxiety and being around crowds and being around groups. And I remember we had talked recently on a stream about someone who was going to be going to their first convention,
Oh,
and and I could remember being at my first one, and just there were so many people around, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? I am so out of place here. And it's like that in school too. I remember being in school. I'm an introvert. I don't want to be around lots of people. Yes, I'm a musician, and I used to play out in bars and clubs and stuff, and now I'm like, I'd rather be a studio musician because now I'm by myself, and it's great. And I'm here, and I'm I can basically just be in my own world, and I don't have to be around people, and I love that. But one thing that helps, I mean, when you have to be around lots of people, I mean, the way we view people is so important
mm-hmm.
because I see people take one of two directions. Excuse me. Either they go in the direction of, oh my gosh, everybody is so much better than me. Everybody is so much more important than me. Everybody, all these people that have it all together, so much more than me. I'm just a fraud, and then I'm gonna get found out. I'm gonna walk down the sidewalk, and people are gonna look at me, and they're gonna know that I'm just this problem person. And that's one perspective. The other way is everybody is
That's
stupid.
mine. I got that from my brother, though. So I was gonna say, is it everyone's stupid? Yeah, because that's
Yeah,
it was.
everybody is dumb. They're all they're misguided. And then so it's like, oh my gosh, all these people are stupid. And I kind of tend in that direction while I'm driving. I'm like, really? You just changed lanes like that in front of me? Oh my gosh, people.
It's all good.
um, but you know, so one of the things you have to remember is every single one of us is a person.
By the way, I don't think everyone's stupid anymore. I was just saying that in the past. That's how I was growing up. I am not that person anymore. Okay, I don't think everyone's stupid. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are all amazing and brilliant and geniuses. That's the way I think about people now. So just confirming that, guys.
Well, well, and Kong just confirmed that everyone is dumb.
Yeah,
But it's not the case, actually. I know it's fun. It's fun to, joke about that. But, we're all people and we're all the same. We're all different, yet we all kind of feel the same way in that respect, where we're all like, okay, there's us, and then there's the rest of the world. And the rest of the world can make us feel uneasy, you know? So I would encourage you to just remember, we're all just people. It doesn't matter if it's somebody who is homeless or somebody who is wealthy beyond recognition and lives in a palace. Every single one of us breathes. We need to eat. We need to sleep. We need water. All these things we all need for survival. We have all those things in common. And we all have insecurities. We all have desires. We all have dreams. We all have people we love. We all have people we dislike. And so many people, when I learned that so many people had the same insecurities as me, then I can walk around and I can look around and I can look in people's eyes and I can think. I was doing this today actually. I was looking as, I mean, they weren't looking back at me, but I was just kind of people watching for a little while. And I was looking in their eyes and I was trying to figure out, okay, based on what's going on with them, just how they look right now, can I imagine what are they feeling? What are they thinking about? Like what type of day are they having, you know? And I'm trying to empathize with these people without even talking to them. I'm just looking at their eyes and I'm seeing this person looks upset, you know. I wonder what's happened in their life today to make them upset. You know, this person looks really excited. I wonder if they achieved something today. I wonder if, you know, somebody, maybe they got a phone call from a friend they haven't heard from in a long time, you know, something. But and I'm just trying to think, okay, these people are all in different areas on the emotional spectrum. And I think social anxiety has a lot to do with self-consciousness. And when we think a lot about ourselves and how we're perceived by the world, it's really easy for us to be anxious and to worry about that. And so I would encourage you, rather than rather than oh, what's the word? Rather than get trapped by yourself, you know, look out to the world and see these people and start to imagine, okay, you know, when you start thinking about other people, when you start thinking about how you can help somebody, maybe, when you start thinking about those things, all of that self-consciousness starts to fade away and your anxiety goes with it. And it's amazing. You can be free from that just by focusing on others less than you focus on yourself. Now, it's very difficult to do, especially to begin doing. But with practice, you can. And that will, you will find a level of freedom in your heart and in your mind that you didn't know existed. And it's awesome. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And I thank you for commenting, Miss Sativa, if you're still here. But and I know you didn't ask a question, but I saw your comment and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that sparked a lot of great thoughts because I remember struggling with that so bad. So
Yeah.
anyway, Ryan, move
Yeah.
us along.
Well, I would comment on Miss Sativa's too, because I mean, it is something they're worried about. I mean, how can you not be worried about it? Anxiety, inside the definition, really is worry, you know, and it's something that we all want to get over if we have it. Oh, thank you for your answer. Thanks, Miss Sativa.
Yeah.
You know, I also struggled with it for a majority of my school life. It wasn't until my last 2 years that I finally started to overcome it, which is, I'll be saying a lot, as you guys know. It was probably one of the more pivotal moments in my life, I would say, and that's when I started to force myself to do things. A lot of anxiety comes from a fear, a worry about the future. You know, worry is essentially the same thing as fear, and anxiety is having that fear and letting it take over you and control you and determine how you act, or rather, in most cases, not act. Usually it's anxiety that causes you to not do something. Like, I don't want to raise my hand in class, or I don't want to say my funny joke that I thought was funny because other people aren't going to laugh, and then I'm going to feel like a piece of poopy. Excuse me. Shapoopy, the girl who's hard to get. Okay, so I don't know if anybody knows that musical, so whatever. So yeah, anxiety is tough, and the way that I got over it was, the first thing was everything Joe was talking about, seeing people the right way. seeing people based on the fact that everyone is infinitely valuable. No one is without flaws, and I'm the same way. But I am just as valuable as every other person, which is infinite. You know, when I start to look at people in that way and loving on them, the less focused I am on myself, the more easy it is to lose track of myself. See people laugh at me, you know? And yeah, like Joe said, if you can get the concentration off of yourself, you can avoid the anxiety. But the anxiety will eventually come back. And that's when you need to start creating a new habit. Because that anxiety is, if you're having problems with it, it's already become a habit. And basically what happens is when you have this anxiety, you choose to listen to it. Because it's this fear in your head, like, they're going to think that you're an idiot if you raise your hand in class and ask what that word means. That was an honest problem I had a lot. I never asked anybody what any word mean because I thought they would think I'm an idiot. Now, I ask people all the time what words mean because it gives them a chance to look smart. And no one's looking at me like I'm stupid because they're like, oh, he doesn't know that word. Let me explain it. If at most, the only thing they think is, oh, I know something I can share with somebody. This is great. So I also don't want my children to be affected by the way I act. Okay. They see how I react to things and they may start to worry themselves. Very great point. Yeah, stepping outside the comfort zone is so difficult, for sure.
And that shows what's going on in your heart. You have a lot of nobility because you care about your children, to that level where you're like, oh, I know that they're watching me and I know that my behavior affects them. And, so the very fact that you care about that, I mean, that puts you at a level of parenting, you know, higher than many.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of parents who just don't care. They just like throw themselves at the world and they don't care how it affects anybody. But you actually, are concerned about that and you want your children to be happy and not worry. So
And
yeah,
I think
so
that's,
that's a lot about you.
yeah, it really does. And that's a legitimate point because I do know people who have anxiety problems specifically because their mother or father had anxiety problems growing up and they got ingrained into that habit of having these worries and letting it kind of torment you to a pause or to running away and etc. And they learned it from their parents. So I think that it's great that you're attacking this now, you're addressing it now because, yeah, I mean, we want the best for our children. I mean, that's what a good mother wants, and they want their children to even be better than they are. I mean, because we love them so much, right? It's a beautiful thing. So what I would suggest, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. But because you have this habit, because you have this habit of the anxiety taking over, the only thing you can do is create a new habit. And that is whenever your anxiety comes, to show it that you're the boss. And you do that by when you have a fear, you address it, and that's not easy, especially because you're going to have to do it over and over to create a habit. But whenever you have a fear, maybe I've got a couple of suggestions. Whenever you have a fear, whenever you're worried about something, if you let it make you think too much, eventually you're just going to shut down. So whenever you feel that coming on, you just have to be able to tell yourself, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do whatever it is that you're anxious about. Maybe it's, going out with your friends or whatever it is. You just choose to like, hey, no, I'm going to do it. I'm scared of this and that's why I need to do this and everything's going to be okay. That's hard, but attacking your fears, as soon as you start acting on it, your anxiety will decrease really fast.
Yeah,
because
that's so true.
your actions start to prove that all of your thoughts were wrong, that all of your fears, they're nothing. because you see yourself act on it and you're like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Yeah, overthinking is terrible. I know. So as soon as you start taking motion, as soon as you start acting against it and you start doing the thing you're afraid of, yeah, everything, all the fear just diminishes a lot faster than you think. But the other thing I would suggest is listening to audio CDs when you have the time, or CDs or talks, you know, like TED Talks, but not TED Talks. I'm talking about trying to find success stories, because the thing is, whenever you listen to a success story, you'll see that there are a lot of things to be afraid of in their scenario, that they have a lot of fears, but they're overcoming them. If you listen to a lot of people who are talking about overcoming their fears, it puts your mind in the right sort of place when those fears or anxieties come. So, like, if I'm always listening to music that's talking about life is terrible, life sucks, blah blah blah. Whenever I encounter a problem, my first thought is going to be, oh, life sucks, you know, I guess I'll just give up and it's gonna stink, you know, and there's nothing I can do about it. But if I listen to a lot of music that's uplifting, or talks that are uplifting, as soon as a problem comes along, my first thought instead is, ooh, a problem. Let's see how I can grow through this experience. Let's see how I can overcome this and be the champion and be awesome, right? Which, you know, you look at those two ways of thinking, and you know which one is more healthy. You know which one is going to make you feel better. But you have to be able to spend time creating a habit of thinking one way versus the other. So yeah, I would suggest, if you can, read whatever good positive success stories, because that will train your mind to, as soon as there's a problem, your first thought will be, all right, how do I overcome this? What do I do here? You know, rather than your first thought being, oh no, another problem. I just want to run away. You know, I just, you know, that's basically what it is. Yeah. So if you can surround yourself with that kind of speaking, those kind of people, that kind of media, that will help a lot. I know that helped me a lot, tons. So I hope all of that's helpful. I'm so negative. I really need that positivity. Yeah. I mean, I've been in that boat, and I feel bad for you, but I'm incredibly impressed by you, because when I was in that boat, I was not willing to tell anybody. When I was there, I would never have made the comments on talk to people even online. I wouldn't tell anybody. So I'm impressed. The fact that you are able to be open about it, and that you want to do it for your child. I think that's amazing. For your children, I should say. Yeah. So I wish you the very best, and you can totally do it. It's something you can get over, because here's the thing, like, all of our habits are in our mind, they're in our subconscious mind, and they're all capable of being changed. Smokers can learn to quit smoking, and they do. There's all sorts of different things that we can change about ourselves. Mostly they're all habits, and they're completely capable of being changed. Some are harder than others. Some you have to work on for a couple of years before you get it. But we all have our battles, And so, like Joe was saying earlier, when you look at other people, oh, trust me, they're having their battle too. They are.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't looking at you. Trust me. You might worry about, like, oh man, how is this person going to see me? Blah, 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 blah. No one's looking. They're only worried about themselves and how other people see them.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time people exploit you and your problems is because they feel like crap inside, and they want to show themselves that they're better than you, and they want to show the world that they're better than you, because that makes them feel good for a second. And then they feel terrible when they go home later and be like, wow, I feel like such a crappy person to be this kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
everyone's having problems. No one's really looking that closely at you. So yeah.
Except for me, everybody looks at me a lot closer.
Yeah, I guess I do.
You do,
Like a
yes.
lot closer.
Man, but when you do that, I can't hear you as well.
Oh, sorry.
Um, yeah, Ryan, that was incredible, incredible. Your commentary there, and I just wanted
You're
to add
incredible.
something I thought of when you were saying that is that one of the things that can help so much is gratitude. Like if you can think of
Mm,
things you're thankful for,
so true.
that will do a lot to increase the positivity. Everything Ryan said about programming yourself with positive things through books and audios and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that can be so helpful. But then to take it to the next level, I have an exercise that I post that I have on my bedroom wall right next to the door, and it says, like first thing in the morning, I look at that and it says, take like breathe life into your body and smile. And when they say smile, they mean smile from like the very, very inside, like feel the smile in your gut, not
Nice.
just smile on your face. Not don't just paste one on your face. Just you know, like actually smile from deep down. And then it says, think of three things that you're thankful for. Three things. Because there are three things. Obviously, you've got your children. Oh my gosh, what possibly? I mean, I think about my kids and I'm like, man, I'm so thankful for my family. I'm so thankful. So thankful for, my friends. I'm so thankful for the fact that I have, other things, there's so many things we can be thankful for. You know, if we have running water, we can be thankful for that. If we have electricity, we can be thankful for that. If we don't have electricity, but we have candles, we can be thankful for that. But I think everybody here has electricity.
At least it seems.
But, um, so yeah, I mean, and I just have that posted there. So I start my day with with getting oxygen and smiling and being thankful, and then that starts the day off right. That at least, the rest of the day can fall apart and be crummy, but at least I had that beginning of the day, and then I do it again at the end of the day too, where I think about, I try and think about what I'm thankful for and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, but I encourage you, and Ryan was talking about some things about getting deep down into changing habits in your subconscious mind. Sometimes we have very deep seated habits
Mm,
that are super difficult to break, and they're not always physically addicting. Like he mentioned, smoking, that has a physical and a psychological effect to
mm.
it. But there's also psychological, and I'm actually thinking about putting together kind of a guided meditation. There is a way. I remember when I used to smoke cigarettes, and when I quit, one of the programs that they had was deeply rooted into changing your like psychological, to attack that psychological addiction, because that's the hardest part to overcome.
Mm.
And they taught, kind of a process of meditation and visualization and self-hypnosis, almost to the fact of where you almost don't feel like your body is there anymore. You're so deep into your subconscious, and then when you're there, you can really start to tweak things and change those habits. You can change what's going on in your subconscious mind, which controls everything, you know and then from there, the behavior kind of is way easier to just naturally change.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I've toyed with the idea of doing that, but there's a lot on the docket to do
Yeah.
these days. But
Yeah.
I do have to say, I got tagged by Rain Knight. uh if I stammer, if you stammer, will it affect you when you're 45? I don't know. um, okay, but Rain Knight apparently has a stammering issue and worries they would continue to stammer around about 20 or 29. Um, that's a really good question. I mean, I think sometimes a stammer it depends on what causes it. Sometimes a stammer is you're dealing with something physical, and there are times when a professional can really help with some of that, a speech therapist or whatever. Sometimes it's just that our thoughts go faster than our words can get them out, so your brain is going in all these different directions, you know and then you're trying to vocalize these thoughts and you can't because they're going so fast. And I understand that for sure, and it can be totally unrelatable. um,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're talking to somebody and all of a sudden, like, you're talking different things and your conversation's going in 20 different directions and they don't know what you're saying, and all of a sudden you're on to a different thought. um, and but I did want to mention, I don't know, it depends on what the cause is. If you can learn how to slow your thinking down a little bit and focus
Strange as
and
that is.
it's tough, and slow, just kind of be a little bit more deliberate with your words, just kind of relax a little bit, and take a step back and relax, and then you probably can overcome the stammer, through just slowing down a little bit and calming down a little bit, and maybe take a deep breath and just then say the words a little more slowly and a little bit more deliberately. And you can probably then, once you do that for a while, you can kind of speed things up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Oh,
uh, but I freak out every time. I don't
yeah.
know what that's gonna do.
Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good point. If you can find a way to calm yourself, or force yourself to be calm by slowing down, and just, yeah, I think that'll work wonders. It's not easy
Mm-hmm.
though, obviously. How do you calm yourself down? Taking a deep breath. When you're in public talking to people, you don't necessarily want to go. All right. So,
Somebody asks you a question.
yeah, yeah.
Really?
um, but you could, you can, I think calming yourself down can come in many different ways. Sometimes it comes in humor. Um, or you can try to mentally say one word every like half a second, 2 words a second, and just force yourself to do that. Like, hey, my name is Ryan. Okay. This is as slow as I'm going to talk. Don't try to rush me. Okay? All right. Let's get started. The question you asked, people are going to be like, what is wrong with this dude? But it puts you in this mentality. If you did that, it would put you in that mentality of like, this whole thing's a joke. Like, it doesn't matter if I rush it or not. Um, and humor a lot of times can calm us. But people judge. I know. That's great. You want people to judge. Imagine this. If people didn't judge, no one would ever laugh. It's only through judgment that we find funny things. It's only through judgment that we find what is good and bad. It's only through judgment that we decide whether that was not a good idea or it was a good idea. You want people to judge, and you want people to judge you, and that's okay. A lot of times we fear people judging us because we don't want people to think that we're not cool. But the problem is, some people are going to do that anyways, whether you say something or not. And some people, good people, the people that you actually should be friends with, the people that you can trust, etc., the people that actually their opinions matter when it comes to your life, because their opinions are designed to help you. Those people who are there for your support and loving on you, let them judge you, because honestly, they're just trying to help. So I don't know. Don't worry about the people that are judging you badly. But, you know, you don't get to decide how people judge you. So you aren't responsible
That's
for it.
true. That's
You
true.
you can't hold yourself responsible for that. So you shouldn't be emotionally, you shouldn't feel any emotion based on how people judge you, because it's not something you control. And if you let other people control your emotions, then you're not in control of your own happiness. You're not in control of how you feel throughout the day. And that's not in a good place. That's not a good place to be. You want to be able to say, no, I'd rather be happy and just be happy. And a lot of that comes from, like Joe was talking about earlier, being thankful. Oh my gosh. Learning how to be thankful for things just creates, it makes you look at the world completely different. I've said this before. How you look at the world is how you will feel living inside of it. So if you think the world looks like crap, then you're going to feel like crap. But if you are thankful for the things that you have, the things that you see in the world, or even things you don't have, things that other people have. I'm thankful for that Robert was such a smart guy in school, and he's probably like a doctor now. I'm thankful for that. That's cool. You know, just having that outlook produces happiness. So, yeah, you don't want other people to judge you. But I don't know. It's not Josh or John.
It's Joe. Yep. Sunnily Bright got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you at
no
least had the
problem.
J right. Yeah, and J-O. You had J-O correct. It was just E at the end.
Yeah, you don't need to apologize. I did
Yeah.
know. Did you see? I had to go back through the chat a little bit, but I noticed that Rain, you do drama.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, I can totally see where stammering could be a difficulty, especially in
Mhm.
drama. Um, this- and
I can see
some
why
of
you
those
did.
nerves,
Hmm.
some of those nerves can actually exacerbate the problem.
Yeah.
Meaning, it can make it even harder because you're nervous. Maybe you're auditioning for something, and you've got to get your lines out, and so those nerves, then all that adrenaline kind of rushes up, and then and you get nervous and you start to choke, and everybody starts to kind of choke at that moment, and then to try and find the calm in that moment when those nerves are super high. I remember hearing a guy say, you never get rid of the butterflies in your stomach, but you can train them to fly in formation. So you can take those nerves, you can use it to your advantage, and you can, like, if you just kind of slow down the mechanism, because all that's going to start worrying, oh my gosh, I want this part. This is going to be great. All this kind of stuff. And then, you can work yourself up into this excited phase, and that can make your stammering even more difficult. But if you can then step away from yourself and step away from the moment in your brain and just take a step back and think, okay, take some breaths, and then, kind of just, even if you have to think to yourself, put your hands up and just go and imagine your heart beating slower, and then just bring it down. And it takes practice and it takes training. But if you breathe deeply, and continue, when you start to feel yourself get worked up and tense, just deliberately focus on relaxing and deliberately think about your heart beating slower. And if you have a very calming place that you like to go to, imagine that place and imagine the details of that place. And from there, when you start doing that, you're going to probably have to do it on your own. It's tough to do it in the moment. You can't do all of these steps in a moment. But when you're by yourself, this is what you can do to practice. And then it gets to the point where all you have to do is take one deep breath and you can be calm. but sometimes it takes training that, thinking of thinking of that calming place, taking the time to focus and to do these things. And then once you train yourself for a while, then you'll be able to just take a deep breath and you'll be calm. And then you can focus on rather than focusing on, oh my gosh, I'm auditioning, you focus on your part,
Mm-hmm.
your character, who you are, who that character is. Start to get into who the character, rather than thinking about, I really want this part, I want to be successful, I want to do good at this part. Take those thoughts and say, okay, those are legitimate thoughts, but I'm going to set them aside right now, and I'm going to focus on, who is this character? What's their history? Do they have parents? What kind of parents did they have? What kind of childhood did they have? What kind of, all the different aspects of this character. And then you can become the character. That's what, when a great actor becomes a great actor, it's because they can become the person that they're portraying. Sometimes they study and study and study a person like that, so they can then really, really gear that character for the performance.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do the same thing, but it really takes getting down to the nitty-gritty of each detail of the character. And then you're focused on that, and you're not focused on the stuff that's making you nervous. You're focused on the character. And that can really be helpful. Sometimes taking a break from being ourselves, that's one of the most healthy things we can do sometimes when we're really challenged with something, and you get to do that in drama. Like, you get to, like, on a regular basis, you can take a vacation from yourself, which sometimes is great, because sometimes our life stinks and I just need a vacation from it. I'm going to focus on this character. And then you start, maybe you have a character that has a really big challenge and you're like, well, at least my life isn't like that. Holy cow. At least I have both my arms.
Yeah.
At least I have, or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Some people may not have both their arms, and, but it's, yeah, that, I guess I'll leave it there, but thank you for chiming in, Rain, and I hope that helps.
Yeah, with doing stuff like a performance live and etc. Yeah, you do have those butterflies at first. I think a lot of it is just getting comfortable in the moment. And one thing, like Joe was talking about, my friend Amory, who did It's Not Like I Like You with me. She's a voice actor, and she's been hired for quite a few different things right now, and for voice acting. And what she said is, usually when it comes to auditions, the thing that causes people to decide to want you the most is when you create a personality for that character. When you can make the character come alive because you can see the person's personality. A lot of times people will be reading off their lines, performing, and it looks like they're trying to perform something they're not comfortable with. Or, like they're talking and it's like, oh yeah, you're reading the lines. You did the lines perfectly. I heard the accent. That was great. But until they feel the character come alive through a personality, they feel like something's lacking. As soon as they see the personality in the character and they can go, oh, whoa, this person's making this character come alive. Like sure, they started to add lines that weren't even there, but at the same time, I feel like they really get the idea of who the character is. Like, I feel like, because that's what Amory said, a lot of times it's not about reading the lines from the script, it's about performing the characters so that they understand that the personality and you can nail the personality. And when you are pretending to be the personality, you stop worrying about the words on the page and you are able to just play. Just play. Because a lot of it really is, they use the word play as you put on a play, but it is a lot of playing around. You know, maybe this character has a goofy character, or maybe they're really serious. So you're just trying to be like really serious, you know, or maybe they're just a laid back guy, and you're kind of like being super laid back, and you're putting on this play, you're putting on this show, and you're just enjoying yourself being this weird personality that you're not naturally. And I think if you, like Joe was saying, take your mind out of the mindset of, you know, reading from the words on the page or whatever, instead of taking your mind and having it all focused on how well you're doing, you are allowed to remove yourself and not care about, oh, how well do they think I'm doing, you know, and rather just, because a lot of times people who get the parts are the people that aren't trying the hardest. They're actually the people that are just trying to have fun. If you know the voice of Mario, from Super Nintendo 64, like Super Mario 64, and all of the games afterwards, you know, I can't do it, but anyways, it's me, Mario.
You're way better at that than me.
Yeah, jeez, I'm terrible. That guy wasn't trying to get the part really well. He was like, I'll go in, I'll just audition, I guess. And he saw the part and he's like, what if I gave it like a kind of a cartoony kind of personality, or like Mickey Mouse, you know, and I'll just like give him an Italian accent and just have fun with it. And so he went and had fun with it. He wasn't even trying hard to get the part. He wasn't worried about getting the part because he didn't need it. He wasn't worried about it. And that allowed him to actually just throw more into the performance, because then he wasn't worried about how people saw him. He was only worried about having a good time, and that made other people have a good time. And Amory said the same thing about getting her voice acting roles. A lot of times the ones she's not even trying for are the ones she gets, because she's the most comfortable in those situations, because she's not all worked up about, oh, I hope they think I do a good job. Oh my gosh, I have to nail every single line, doing it perfectly, blah, blah, blah. You know, getting yourself worked up. As soon as you just allow yourself to be like, whatever. It doesn't matter if I get the part or not. I'll just do what I can. We'll see how it goes, you know. I'll just play around, have fun. I think that'll put you in a better spot, yeah. And then your stammering won't happen so much.
Yes, well said.
Anyway,
I
that
can
was
relate to that.
tangent.
That what Amory was saying. Yeah, no, but I can relate to that. I was doing some recording today vocally,
Oh,
and I did so much better when I wasn't focused on hitting all the notes, but I was focused
that's
on
true. The same thing here.
and not even just how I was singing it, but I was focused on feeling the way a person who sang it that way would feel. If that makes sense. I brought it back to the level of, okay, if I was going to sing something, if I hear a person singing this way that I want to that I want this song to be sung, how would I imagine what they're like? You know, how are they like? And all of a sudden my shoulders kind of dropped
Start relaxing.
a little bit, and I was like, okay, yeah. And I just kind of got into that, and you know, then when I sang it, it really like, man,
It took flight of its own, yeah.
yeah, like now it does, instead of taking me like 47,000 takes to get the perfect one, I was like, hey, you know, hey, take one was all right, but take two was okay, and maybe I'll take a little bit from each one and combine the two, whatever, who knows. But yeah, it's that's so important, and what Amory was saying was so great.
And that's so true. I mean, I've been in the position where it's like, how come when I stepped up to the mic, it sounded so much worse than when I just sang it like literally at the computer right before it? As soon as I stepped to the mic, what was different? I mean, yeah, my posture was different, I guess, you know, but it was because, yeah, I'm too worried about nailing every single thing rather than just kind of relaxing and singing it and really just getting into that zone.
Be in the moment.
Yeah.
It's great. I know we're starting to get a little short on time here, but we did have a question from first of all, Rain, thank you so much for your comments and questions. Thank you for participating. You know, it was really awesome of you to chime in. We have a question from
You seal?
Yuseli.
Cool. You said it.
Yuseli, how do you
Kagwa,
pronounce it?
I would
Kagwa.
guess.
Okay.
Kagwa? I don't know. That's my best guess.
And I hope that you're still here. Um, if you're not, I think your question can be very helpful for lots of people. And I'm really, really glad that you asked.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so Yuseli asks, I've recently gotten into a relationship. I'm a high schooler, reaching my third year, and I'd like advice. It's my first time. I fear getting hurt and have low self-confidence that I'm worthy of the guy. So here we have Yuseli, who's um in a very new relationship, first maybe serious relationship. There's the fear of getting hurt, and there's the feeling of not being worthy of this person. And I think that's huge. And Ryan, what would you have to offer Yuseli?
Thank you so much for this question. And I feel you, especially upon the worthy part. And I would like to address something and try to point you in a different way of thinking, if I may. I do not, I would say I don't subscribe to the idea. I was going to say I don't believe in, but really it's more like I don't subscribe to the idea of deserve or worthy. Because here's the thing. So in short, I'm just going to say I don't believe in deserve and I don't believe in worthy. And the reason I say that is because of this. You did nothing to deserve to be alive. You did nothing for your parents to deserve or be worthy of them giving you food, water, shelter. You did nothing to deserve the air that you breathe. You didn't make the trees, right? But they breathe the stuff that we consume, and we breathe the stuff that they consume. They did help us, stay alive, but a lot of times we're not the ones that planted them. So, it's interesting to to be worried about the idea of being worthy of another person or being worthy of your position or deserving another person's friendship. A lot of that comes down to you don't think very highly of yourself, right? But I'm here to say, please try not to worry, or please try not to have the idea that you should only get what you deserve, or you should only have what you're worthy of. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't even exist. Instead, look at the world from this angle. Everything we have is a gift, and we get to choose what we do with it. And the best thing we can do with gifts is to give them to others. When you have a gift, whether it be a musical talent or even a relationship, what you do with that gift is you're able to give back. You can take that talent and give it to the world. You can take a relationship and give it to the world. Sometimes we're given toys as gifts, but a lot of times, and that's fun when we play with that toy on our own, but we can also share that experience with others. And that's beautiful. Or we can say thank you. Sometimes all we can do is say thank you and say, oh, thank you. I don't deserve this. I did nothing to deserve it. But thank you. I'm glad I have this. So instead of being worried about being worthy, I would suggest just be thankful, because everything is a gift in life. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to be worthy of things. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to earn things. No, I would suggest that you do try. But simply be thankful and understand that the gifts you have are gifts. They're not something that you got because you did something most of the time. It's something that you were simply given, and you ought to be thankful for that. You've been given the chance with this uh, with this relationship that you have, and it's a gift, and you get to choose how you use that gift, and you get to choose how you treat that gift every moment of the day. And if you feel like if you walk into that relationship every day with this guy and you are showing him that you feel like you're not worthy of it, how do you think that makes him feel about his gift that he gave you? It makes him feel like maybe you didn't want it, or maybe you don't like it, or maybe it's not enough. And you don't want him feeling like that. So the best thing you can do is to not worry about whether you're worthy of it, whether you deserve it, and simply just accept it and say thank you, and then do your best from there. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, well, it helped my perspective too, Ryan. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
I I gain a lot from being here.
I think we all do, yeah. There's so many times you say things I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. That's brilliant. That really helps. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great because you know what Ryan was talking about as far as gifts are concerned, and really, yeah, like he said, you know, if you're worried about not being worthy, I guess in a sense, we're not worthy of anything. But like Ryan was saying, it's a gift. And you know, if the relationship stays around, that's a gift. If the relationship ends and it's painful, that also is a gift. You know, pain can be a gift as well. And if and a lot of times we fear getting hurt, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's true. I mean, we're not going to avoid pain in our lives, you know. So it's quite possible. I mean, there is the possibility you'll go into this relationship and at the end of it all, you could end up being hurt. There is that possibility. It happens to lots and lots of people. It probably has happened to just about everybody, you know, to some degree, where we've all been hurt by some kind of a relationship. And we fear that, but really, without that circumstance, and without that pain, and without that feel, I mean, we would not be able to empathize with others. I mean, the only reason that Ryan and I are here, we're not experts at all, but we've been through some stuff. And that's why we maybe know some stuff, is because we've been through some stuff. And when we were going through it, it was really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But that can make you so much more impactful to the people around you to have gone through that experience. I'm not saying maybe this relationship will last for the rest of your life. And that will be a tremendous gift.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it won't. And then, but the time you have together is a gift. And then the circumstances where it did not, you know, stay together, that also is a gift, because then that brings you some experience. If you look in like an RPG, it's experience points.
There you
You
go.
know?
Yeah. You learn a lot
So
from it.
you do, absolutely. You learn so much more from the hard times than you do from the good. And the
Mm-hmm.
good times make us a lot overconfident, and they set us up for failing. But the hard times build our strength and our endurance so we can move forward. So whatever happens with this relationship, you can look at it, you know, whether it lasts forever or it ends tomorrow. Either way, it's going to benefit you. And you just have to figure out where that benefit is. And it's going to benefit the people around you as well, you going through that. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate your question and asking it, and thank you for being patient
Yeah.
while we worked through some other ones before we got to you. And I'm really glad to see that you're still here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I hope that that's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And man, because I know exactly how that can feel, to not feel worthy of somebody,
Yeah.
and to be afraid of the hurt and to be afraid of the unknown. It's new, and you're having all kinds of different, you know, thoughts and feelings and stuff going on, and it's crazy because if this is the first time you've gone into this experience, you know, it's like a whole new world, and it can be exciting and scary all at the same time. And I applaud you for being willing to experience it, because yes, you will gain tremendous amount from just being there in that experience. So anyway, that's about all I got to say.
Yep, great point, Gray. Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I think it's about time to shut down, yeah? You're the host. I'll let you shut it down.
What?
I said, you're the host. I'll let you shut it down at your leisure.
But you're going to let me shut it down.
Yeah,
you're the one that's... You're the one that's in charge of the stream.
Like, yeah, I know, but like, I mean...
You got your hand on the button.
That's right. But it's not my job, you know? I mean, I left that up to you when we started this, because... Yeah.
And actually, Trinity, we don't get that a lot. We do get it a lot in the chat, you know, like you guys, and Static also said thank you. But yeah. Oh, I definitely in my day-to-day life I don't get a lot of people saying thank you for.
Yeah, that's true. You know, but that's okay. We're not looking for them, but we appreciate them when we get them.
Exactly. And you guys, man, you guys are so important to us. You know, go to bss.studio and get involved in the forums. You're gonna find some amazingly wonderful people there. And yeah, like if we're great, it's only because, you know, we surround ourselves with great people like you. And thank you so much for being here. And yeah, come back next Wednesday. It seems to me that the chat keeps getting more and more vibrant and active with every stream, and it's so amazing. You know, so sometimes for those of you who have been here a few times, you probably noticed this kind of increase in the chats. But so if we don't get to your question, it might not hurt to ask it a few times in the chat, because sometimes the chat gets really moving. And if you notice your question kind of gets buried under some chat that's going on, do not hesitate to post your question again. And, you know,
someone, you know, was talking earlier, was about like, how do I help my friends? Here's another way to possibly help them. Bring them to these.
Yeah.
Be around them and just put this on, and they'll be like, oh, this is boring, I don't want to listen to it. And be like, no, we're gonna listen to it, like, because I like listening to this, and it can just be on in the background. You don't even have to watch us.
Do as I say.
Yeah,
you be static. You say, I'm on top.
Just have it on your phone, and then you guys will be playing video games or playing a board game or whatever together, but it will be on in the background, and they'll hear things that will lift them up, because that's what we're here to do, lift people up. And even if they just get that little nuggets here and there from conversations that we have, or that you guys talk to us about, you know, that helps.
Yeah, but pay close attention to which one of us is speaking at any given time, and you can mute it when I'm talking, and make sure you turn it back on when Ryan's talking.
It's gonna be really hard to do that because we sound so similar. Even your mom couldn't tell us apart.
We kind of do. It's
no. I would suggest the opposite, because Joe always has the smart things to say, and I'm just the guy that's tagging along, you know. I just pretend like I know what I'm talking about, but everything I've said so far is just out of Joe's head, and I've got one superpower, and that is to suck things out of Joe's head and then say them to you guys.
Whatever.
If you can believe that.
That's an amazing superpower.
Yeah.
I wonder why my head feels empty half of the time.
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy.
I have this blank moments.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. So awesome. You guys are amazing. Once again, thank you so much for being here with us. And come back next week and bring some friends.
Yeah.
And
why not?
Watch this again and again if you like some of the stuff, and you know, but missed some of it, go back and listen again.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you guys are so awesome, and we're so glad you're here. So
yes, thank you all
again.
All right.
So
Do
We
you guys
love you guys.
love you too, man? Oh, that wasn't to me. Love you guys too,
You
man.
guys, I love you, man. I love you too.
Cool. You guys want to see the end screen?
Yeah, I want to see the end screen. I don't
All
even
right.
know what it looks like anymore.
It looks like this. This is what it looks like when we're not on the end screen, though.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
because
Oh, it's silent. Suddenly Bright says it's silent.
oh, it's silent. Oh, probably because I
Yeah.
changed the
What
location of the
happened to the
file.
song?
So, yeah,
What
so the
happened to
song file
what
is in a
happened
different
to
location.
me dat?
Okay, hold on. You know, I'm gonna have to go to the end screen to do this. But I'll go to the end screen and I'll put that song on for you and I'll let it play for like a second. Um,
You
then
need to play the song, man. Play the whole song. It's
All
a
right.
great song.
okay, you're a great song. I don't even remember. Was it Mbidat? That was Mbit.
Yeah.
Mbidat. That's what it was. Yeah.
Me
All right.
dat. Whatever.
Mbidat.
However you
Yeah.
spelled anyway.
Mhm. All right. Well, see you guys. Thanks for coming and thanks for letting me know
Bye.
that it's
Thanks.
silent. I'm gonna put it back on end screen.
Oh, they say it's nice when it's silent.
Oh, they like the silence. You know, you have a mute button.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna play the music for the people who like the music. If you like it silent, just turn your volume down.
But if you like it silent, dude, I feel you. I'm that way a lot of times. Man, if I'm driving the car, sometimes I just want it silent. And I'm just gonna like sit there and meditate, enjoy the silence, pray, whatever. Like I like it silent.
Take a nap.
While driving, yes. Yeah, that's
Driving.
smart. It's always a good way to drive. Sleeping.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. See you guys again next Wednesday.
Bye again.
Bye-bye.
Number 2. Yeah, see ya.
Was that the song you guys were looking for?
Suddenly, of course,
Yeah.
Suddenly knows what it is.
Of course, suddenly knows what
course.
it is.
Suddenly knows it.
Yeah, a nice calming ending for you guys. You know, the best way to leave, you know, is just in a nice calm song. Yeah, really nice and calm. Really just, yeah, you could sleep to that with your eyes open.
Are we back on?
Yeah, we're back on. You know how we do, man. I mean, that's
Great.
yeah,
Oh man.
yeah,
What is that from? I don't. It's from Ryan.
yeah. Just made it.
Yeah.
It was for
It's
it
from
was
the amazing mind of Ryan.
no.
Static.
I grabbed it out of your head. Remember?
I think that was before you were even Static P.
No, that's not true. That song was developed when it was after I was Static P. It was probably around the time, a little bit after I got East West stuff, though. So it was Detective was made before, that's for sure. But then
Okay.
2015, yeah.
Sunnily knows, man.
Sunnily knows.
Yes. If
He's
you
the
want to
smart
know
one.
anything about BSS, just ask Sunnily.
Yeah, don't
Bright.
come to us. We don't know what we're talking about. Ask Sunnily. He'll know.
Sunnily knows.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to play Beat That for you guys now. See you guys later. Thanks for joining us again. All right, I found the guy. I found the song, guys. Finally took a while. Here you go. Let me just beat that.